Hi, I'd like to show you now how to create a new scenario. You've gone through and put in your operational plan. So here, for example, is 2010 planning. But when I look up at cash surplus, I see a negative. That's an area of concern. What I may want to do is make some changes on my plan, but don't want to mess up what I've already done. So what you can do is go to What If, Create Select Scenarios. Go to the Planning, Copy icon and copy planning data to What If. Potentially you were going to add 400 acres. Okay. Now that I've added a scenario called Add 400 acres, I'm going to want to compare the two of them. So whatever is checked off in this column is going to be side-by-side comparisons in the compare operations. So in the planning versus the add 400 acres, I've created a copy of planning, but I haven't made any changes to it yet. Well, I'm going to go to the scenario called Add 400 acres, go to the grain operations page. To add 400 acres, I'm just copy this record. So all of the crop budgets are going to stay the same, but this time I'm going to add 400 acres of rented land, $40 an acre in cash rent. Hit OK. So I've increased my acres. Now I'm also going to add $4,000 to fuel. I'm going to add $3,000 to repairs. Custom hire, $2,000 because it's additional. Hired labor, additional. Tax and all the other costs I'm going to suggest are going to stay the same. So now when I go to cash surplus profit, I can see that I am no longer running a negative cash surplus and I'm running a little bit of a profit. Now I think this was better than last time because I remember the last one was negative, but let's go to Create Select and compare operations, and I can now look very closely at 3123 acres here, 3523 acres there. I've increased my fuel, repairs, custom hire, hired labor, and land rent because I can see that quickly given the fact that if any number in the add scenario column is different than the original, it's going to show up in red. We didn't change the real estate taxes, but when you look at the real estate taxes divided by the number of acres on a per acre basis, the numbers change. So a lot of our per acre bases are going to change even though we didn't change any of the total overhead numbers. I went from a 46,000 cash deficit to a 9,000 cash surplus, and it's also increased my profitability. You can go back into this add 400 acres and change as many things as you like, or go to forage and potentially change from forage acres to grain farm or vice versa. Any case, do all the changes you would like. Make sure you go to the overhead page, adjust how your overhead numbers are going to be affected as well. When you change one of the overhead numbers, it does change the numbers that are going into the split of each enterprise, so you have to reevaluate your overhead on a per enterprise basis if that is important. Go to the cash surplus page, evaluate the new profit plan for your farm, and you can continue on with your analysis. So only planning and actual scenarios can be compared for the benchmarks. You can also compare the net worth. In this case, our starting net worth is unchanged. Also, we have not changed any assets because we are only renting additional land, we weren't buying it. Revenues do not change on the livestock enterprise, but they do change on the grain farming enterprise. Overhead numbers have changed. The ending net worth, of course, does change. We can do a final analysis on what does it look like as an ending report ratios on the farm. Has it gone better or worse? That is a quick introduction on how to create what-if scenarios for your farm. I encourage you to watch more tutorials so that you get the most out of the software and its full range of power. Thank you.